Good morning. Welcome. I'm happy that you are here. This morning in this video, I want to talk about a way of living you probably don't know. Living without thoughts. I want to talk about how this is possible and why this is a good idea. Why you should even consider this. Usually, people cannot imagine why this should be even desirable. Living without thought. I get questions like, well, if I meditate and if I start ignoring my thoughts, how will my life be? How will I work without thoughts? How will I make sure that I do the right things and not the wrong things? How is this possible? So people believe that thinking is essential for a good life. But in reality, this is not true. First, I want to start talking about how this works with work, for instance. How do you work? How do you get anything done when you don't think? I believe it was Ramesh Balkasar who said that there are two different kinds of mind. There's the working mind and there's the thinking mind. And you know this. When you are immersed in some activity, some job, maybe you're a carpenter and you're working on a piece of wood, or you are a computer programmer and you sit in front of the computer and you're deep into some mental activity. There's no thinking. You're busy. Everything in you works. Your whole system is immersed in this activity. It is like you are not there. When you are the carpenter working on the wood, you feel the wood, you see the wood, you hear the noises of the tools, and you have a feeling for what it means and what needs to be done. When you are programming, it's the same, just that all these things are mental. But there is not really thinking. And then you worked for half an hour or an hour or two and you get exhausted. It's time for a break. You sit back, maybe you get yourself a cup of coffee. You close your eyes. And what starts then is the thinking mind. As soon as there's no activity, we could just rest. We could just be empty and recuperate. But we don't. As soon as activity stops, thinking starts. Then you think about what you just did. You think about what you will do a moment later. You will think about yesterday or tomorrow. Maybe you think about a mistake you did, or you think about how great you did something. But you don't rest. And this is the thinking mind. Now, when I say living without thought, I'm talking about this thinking mind. And I tell you, you can't live without this. And not only is it possible to live without the thinking mind, it's a much better life. When you stop using the thinking mind, the working mind can work much better. Everything becomes easier, quicker, faster. You're more focused. You're more relaxed. You have more energy, much more energy. So when I say live without thinking, live without thought, this does not mean that you will be unable to work. Quite the contrary. You will work better. You will get more results in less time. And as soon as we start thinking, something else starts. This is the exhausting part of life. We start worrying. It is as if we do work while thinking, but we don't do anything. It's all lost energy. But when we don't think, during those times where we are not active, in these times when we do not think, but instead do really nothing, when you are empty instead of thinking, then it is as if out of nowhere energy starts flowing into you. You become recuperated, you become recharged, focused, happy. And then when some activity starts again, when you continue to work, for instance, it works much better. You are rested, you are in a good mood, you are in good spirits, and you have energy. But usually we do not do this. You work, and then it's time for a break. You can't concentrate anymore. You need a rest. And when you are at the computer, maybe you open YouTube and watch a movie clip, or you open Facebook or something else, and you browse social media and you get distracted. You don't rest, you distract yourself, and you start thinking. All this input you get promote your thoughts. And this is the opposite of resting. This drains your energy. And when you don't do this, when you don't distract yourself, if you really sit there with closed eyes, then you think about tomorrow, about yesterday, about your wife, about your job, about money, about yourself. And that's very energy draining. Maybe what I say now will surprise you, but all of your problems in life, all of them, the practical problems in life, financial problems, health problems, physical problems with your body, mental problems, anxiety, fear, restlessness, sleeplessness, they all come from this kind of thinking. So, I wanted to answer the question, why is it even desirable to live without thought? And this is the reason. You live better. Much, much better. But how is it possible? There's a book from the Russian writer Dostoevsky. I'm not really sure what the English title is. It's something like The Unbearable Ease of Life, or The Unbearable Lightness of Life. Something like this. And this Russian writer, he must have been familiar with how it is when you don't think. When you stop thinking, when you stop giving your attention to thought, two things happen. On the one hand, everything immediately gets easy. It is as if your work gets done by itself. It is as if life happens by itself. It's easy, problem-free, unexhausting. And at the same time, when you are thoughtless, it is as if it is unbearable. It is as if you cannot stand this. It's almost painful. It is as if you have something in you which feels totally uncomfortable and uneasy with this kind of ease, with this kind of emptiness. It's like you don't know where to put yourself. You don't know what to do with yourself. You're just here. You're just pure being, resting in yourself, and something is unbearable in the beginning when you are not used to this, when you didn't learn what to do with yourself, when you don't think. And sometimes I have the feeling that this Russian writer who wrote amazing works, he knew the beginning. He knew how life can be, but he didn't know the end. He didn't know the solution to the problem. I'm just guessing. Of course, I don't know. The way you can learn to live without thought is meditation. But meditation, you don't know what meditation is. There are certain meditation techniques. For instance, some meditations, you visualize things to promote a certain mental state in you, to promote a certain energy. Some meditations, you focus on your breath to make you deeply quiet and to bring you inside of your body, out of your thoughts. There are meditations where you look into a flame, and this promotes thoughtlessness. All these are tools, they are techniques to help you with this thoughtlessness. But all these techniques have one flaw in common. You are still in your body. You are still identified with your body. It's a lovely meditation to focus on your breath, but ultimately you still focus on your body. And this, as strange as it might sound to you, leads back into thought. As soon as you stop doing the meditation, you're back in thought. But there's a new meditation. I mean, the meditation is not new. This meditation is 800 years old. But until now, it has been hidden deep in the Himalayas, carried on by some unknown gurus. But now, this meditation, it's called the Samarpan meditation, comes into society. I learned this meditation from Swamiji. I'm a disciple of this guru, and he's bringing this into society. He talks about it. He teaches this simple meditation. And the difference, this meditation is unique. It's different than all the other meditations. Because this meditation gives you a place to focus your attention on, which is not part of this body. Yet, it is part of the body. It sounds a little mysterious, but actually it's pretty simple and very practical. In the Samarpan meditation, you focus your attention here on the crown chakra. This is this highest spot of your skull. It's nothing esoteric. Yeah? It's just this physical spot of your body up here. When you do this meditation for half an hour every morning, you just sit there with your eyes closed. You don't do anything, but rest with your attention at this spot of your body here. It's a spot you can physically feel. You don't have to imagine anything. It's very practical, very grounded. But there's something very mysterious about this spot. It is as if when you rest there, you rest in a place which truly has nothing to do with this body. You don't know how this is possible. But that's the truth. It's like this spot is the end of this body and the beginning of something else, of something you don't know yet. The beginning of heaven, the beginning of your soul, the beginning of that, what you truly are. You see, it's like this. You are not this body. In reality, you are not this body. In reality, you don't have anything to do with this body, with these feelings this body has. You don't even have anything to do with the thoughts that this body has. But usually, us as human beings, we are totally identified with all these things which belong to the body, the thoughts, the feelings, and the body itself. And no matter what meditation you do, you either focus on something mental or you focus on something physical, which all keep you in this body existence. But this body was born. There was a time where this body didn't exist, and this body will die. But you have not been born. You will not die. But this which has not been born, this which will not die, you don't know this. All you know is this body, the thoughts, and the feelings. And when you do the Samarpan meditation, when you rest in the crown chakra for half an hour every morning, you get familiar with this, what you actually are. And now it's like this for me it is as if this spot, this practical spot where I can easily give my attention to, this is like a resting point for my attention, a safe spot, so to speak. And when I rest there with my attention, there are no thoughts. They're just beingness. When I'm there with my attention, I don't have anything to do with the body. Although I feel this particular spot of my body. It's really like magic. And now it is like this. As soon as you do this, you want to learn to live without thought. You want to learn how it is to just be and not think. So you pick up this meditation. You rest in the crown chakra. But before you know it, you're back in thoughts. One thought after the other is pulling on you, getting your attention. And before you know it, you realize, oh, I'm not resting with my attention in the crown chakra. I'm just thinking about my boss. And then we return back to the crown chakra with our attention. And then the next thought comes. And this goes on and on and on. This training of returning with our attention back to the crown chakra. But there's an easy trick, an easy tool you can use to become free of the attraction of these thoughts. And this is what I want to share in this video, this trick. You know, I made it a practice to read in Swamiji's scriptures. My Guru Swamiji, he wrote his autobiography a few years ago. 6 volumes, beautiful books, easy to read. It's a joy to read this. Everybody can understand it. It's written in such a simple and childlike way. It's accessible for everybody. And I love to read in this because it's inspiring me again and again on this path of Samarpan meditation, on this path to a thoughtless life. And often I read, I have read all 6 volumes multiple times. But still, I read it again, and then I discover things I've never read before. I mean, I did read them before, but it didn't register in me. I didn't really notice what I was reading there. Maybe I just wasn't ready for it yet. And now I read it again, and it's like, oh wow, this is so cool what he says here. Why didn't I read this before? Why didn't I notice this before? So I discover new gifts every time I read this. And there's a second publication I read from Swamiji. It's called the Madhutai Chanya magazine. It's a magazine which is being published every other month in India. It's in English. And you can subscribe to it. And in this magazine, there are writings from Swamiji, printouts of his discourses, for instance, and other things. And also there I can read Swamiji's words. And it's every time I read in it, I made it a habit to read a little bit in it every day, usually before I go to bed. And I read a few paragraphs, and it's like such a gift. I read things which inspire me to the core. Things I have heard before, over and over again from him, but I forgot again. And this trick I want to share with you now is one of those things. I have heard it from Swamiji before. I've read about it years ago. And this particular trick I even read many years ago before I even knew Swamiji. And it's like this. He says simply, when you get thoughts in your meditation, just observe the thought. Yeah, don't be part of the thought. Observe it. Just look, what kind of thought is it? It's a thought about the past. Interesting. And then you let the thought go and you return to your safe place, to the crown chakra. And then the next thought comes. A thought about the future. Interesting. And you let it go and you remain where you are, in the crown chakra, in you. And by observing the thoughts which come, you don't become part of them. Usually a thought comes and we are in it. And it is as if the thought carries us away. And then this one thought carries us into the next thought and into the next thought, and it never ends. But when you observe the thought, you are outside of it. You remain where you are. Then you notice, I thought about my meditation. I thought about how well I'm meditating. Interesting, and you let the thought go. I often get thoughts about what I will say in the next video. Interesting. I thought about talking, and I let it go. When I do a video, I have no idea what I'll say. I don't have a plan. I don't have a script. I don't know what my next sentence will be. I don't know where the video leads to. But this does not prevent my mind from thinking about it beforehand, over and over again. But this mind which is thinking about it is not here right now. So when these thoughts come, I see, interesting. I thought about what I will say. Okay, I let it go. And I do this every time this happens. So it's very simple. A thought comes. You just notice what kind of thought is it. About the future, about the past, about me, about my body, about money, about a woman, about a man, about sex, about fear, whatever. You notice, that kind of thought, and you let it go. And you return to where you belong here. And you can do this not only in meditation. You can do this any time where you notice that you are thinking. You can do this while brushing your teeth in the morning. You're in the bathroom, you brush your teeth. You have nothing complicated to do, and this is a great time for the thinking mind to start. And you notice the thought, you're brushing your teeth, and you notice the thought about what you will do when you're in your office. And you notice, thought about work, and you let it go. And you become empty again, and you continue brushing your teeth. For me, this starts very early in the morning. I wake up, and immediately the thoughts come. The first thing I do in the morning, I go to the bathroom, I sit down on the toilet, and while I'm sitting there, in these few moments, immediately my thinking mind starts the day. He plans the day, he starts thinking about work, or about a video, or whatever. And then to immediately notice, I thought about work. I thought about a video. And you let it go. You don't hold on to it. So you start the day thoughtless, right from the beginning. And this is how you can do everything throughout the entire day. Then you drive your car, and thoughts come. I thought about my wife, and you let it go. Then you sit there empty, driving your car. This is how you can work. You are busy doing your work, and then some thought comes, disturbing your work, disturbing the working mind. And you notice, some thought about some worry, and you let it go. You become empty again, and you continue your work. This simple trick changes my entire life, changes my meditation, it changes the way I'm working. When I don't use the thinking mind, everything else becomes easier. And as I said, this technique, this trick is not new. I knew this trick even before I knew Samarpan meditation. But now that I know the Samarpan meditation, now that I know about this magic spot here, this crown chakra, now I know where to go with my attention. And it is as if only now I can really be thoughtless, because now I have a place to be when everything is gone. And now I experience the value of this trick of simply observing the thoughts which come, as much more effective now that I know where to be when there's no thought. I mentioned Dostoevsky's story, The Unbearable Ease of Being. Now, with this technique of just observing the thoughts and letting them go, now I can be pure being, empty, thoughtless. And now I know where I can be with this. Now it becomes possible. It becomes bearable. Yeah. So if you know meditation, but you don't know Samarpan meditation, I would like to encourage you to try this out, because it's a completely new way of meditating. For me, this is the only real meditation. And if you already know this technique of observing the thoughts, but you have never tried it together with the Samarpan meditation, I would like to encourage you to try it again, together. Because the combination is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I do the Samarpan meditation since 7 years now. It has changed my life completely. That's why a little bit over a year ago I started doing these videos to tell everybody about it. But now that I remembered this advice from Swamiji, to just observe the thought and see what kind of thought is it, this makes it so much easier for me to become thoughtless in no time. And when you do this consistently, then it is as if the thoughts don't even come anymore. It's absolutely amazing. My meditation changed. And when I'm thoughtless, when I use this technique throughout the day, everything is easier. My work becomes totally transformed. I'm quicker, I'm more focused. Everything gets done, and I don't even know how it is possible. So this is really a game changer. The combination of these two amazing things. Now, I told you that. I tried to answer this question, why should I even learn to be thoughtless? What should this be good for? And I told you that this will transform your life. All of your problems will disappear. Everything becomes easy, including your work. But something else is happening. When you learn to be thoughtless, when you learn to live here, in your true inside, in your true being, when you begin to discover your soul, that what you really are, not this body, not the thoughts, not the feelings, then it is as if you discover the meaning of this life. Maybe you wonder, why am I living? What is this whole thing good for? Why have I been born? Why all this? Yeah? What's the meaning of life? And when you begin to discover your true being, when you discover thoughtlessness, then you realize this entire life, this being born into a body, is simply a help and the path to discover this, to rediscover yourself. That what you really are. This what is waiting for you beyond this magical point up here. I'm not talking about anything esoteric. I'm a very practical guy. I don't like imagination. I don't like fantasy. I don't like spiritual dreams. The only thing which I'm interested in is practical stuff, grounded stuff, things I can experience. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a way of living where you practically discover this. You will experience it. It has nothing to do with a dream. It has nothing to do with a dogma or a fantasy. It's reality. Experienced, grounded, simple reality. And then you begin to discover where you came from. You discover where you are, who you are. And then this whole life makes sense. And anything which happens practically in this physical life with this body and with work and with relationships and with health becomes completely unimportant. It becomes beautiful and joyful and fulfilled because you discover that what is really important. Your true being. And your true being is beyond thought. Yes, this is the potential of this life. And the Samarpan meditation, together with the Samarpan meditation, is the path to this. And this trick I just shared with you in this video, the simple trick which I rediscovered through Swamiji, this helps you in the meditation. This helps you to just let go of the thought and to become thoughtless in meditation and to live thoughtless. The meditation in the morning for half an hour is just a practice ground. But when you do this for a while in your life, after a few months, after a few years, this spreads into your entire life. And then you live a meditative life. You live a thoughtless life. And then you are happy. It's like you live in heaven. You return to heaven while you are alive. If you are interested in beginning with this meditation, this is not my meditation. I didn't invent this. I'm just somebody who does this meditation since 7 years, and I share about the amazing gifts which it brings. If you want to pick this up, it's totally easy. This meditation is free, doesn't cost anything. It's simple, it's easy. When you want to start with this, I recommend you do an introduction to the Samarpan meditation. This is being done by those people who promote this meditation in the world. And depending on where you live in the world, you will find the right people. If you want to get information about this, you can go on my website, on the meditation page, and there I collected a lot of links and information about the meditation, and links to where you can find further information, and also links to where you can find an introduction. You can do this online. Here in Germany, where I live, you can do this every Monday evening online. It's totally simple. And you just are in this online introduction for half an hour, and there you learn how it works. It's totally simple, and you get some tips and information about the meditation. It's a beautiful, short little event online, and then you just start with the meditation. So you can use my website as a jumping board to find the relevant information directly from the people who promote the Samarpan meditation in the world. And it's free, it doesn't cost anything. That's why also all my videos are free when I talk about the Samarpan meditation. And the beautiful thing about this meditation is that you can just add it to your life. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to change your life, and you don't have to change yourself. You don't have to become part of a religion. You don't have to have a guru. You don't have to stop eating certain foods. You don't have to stop drinking alcohol or stop smoking. You can just keep living the way you live right now. Just remain the way you are. You don't have to become spiritual. You don't have to become holy. I mean, all these things will happen, but by themselves, just by meditating. And that's the beauty of this meditation. You can just pick it up. You integrate it into your daily life. No matter how you live, it doesn't matter. No matter which religion you are born into, no matter where you live, no matter whether you're a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. You can just meditate. And all the rest happens by itself. Yeah, this is really a game changer. Your life will change completely. And I share about this because this is my practical experience in my life every day. And it keeps going on, and it keeps getting better and more magical every year for me. And that's why I do videos. I invite you to pick up the Samarpan meditation. I invite you to try this trick I shared with you about observing the thought. And I invite you to watch my videos if this is helpful for you to focus into this direction. And just as Samarpan meditation from Swamiji is free of charge, all of my videos are free. But if you feel like helping me financially, doing all of this, what I'm doing here, I'm totally happy. I want you to feel free to enjoy everything I offer, no obligation. But if you want to support me, I'm thankful, because this gives me the means to have the time for this. And if you feel like supporting me, you can go on my website on the donate page. There you find all the information, how you can support me. And as I said, I'm very happy about every single person who does this. But feel free to enjoy everything I offer. Go on my website, there are countless videos about life and about this meditation and about how you can live thoughtless. You know, life is meant to be easy. Life is meant to be a happy occasion. You just have to learn it. I'm so happy that you are here.